taking the small tasks, following up, and then divvying it out to your team leads or your leadership so that they can then implement to the account managers. And then pretty soon everybody's helping everybody, and then the boat all rises.
Sometimes we have to raise our hand, or sometimes somebody needs to raise our hand for us and be like, guys, we can do a whole lot better if we just try.
It just helps your confidence as an agent to go out there and know that it's going to be okay.
Hello, friends. We are here with wonderful Cross Insurance from the West Coast. Hello. Not the East Coast Cross. We are talking with Celia Cross, who is one of the owners of Cross Insurance Agency. We've worked together for years. Most of you already know I used to work there with Celia as well. We went through a lot of the APP programs together when I was on the agency side. And when mergers and acquisitions and things happen, I came over to the consulting side, while Celia and her team stayed over at Cross Insurance to make the magic continue happening. So I thought it was a great opportunity for us to have a conversation with her and possibly one of the other leaders later to get some updates of how things have gone over the last couple of years, find out what's fun and new, and how they've been utilizing our program since they've been a client for more than 5 years now. Miss Celia, would you like to tell the world a little bit about yourself?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Celia Cross, and with Cross Insurance Agency, and I've been in the industry for many, many years.
Almost 100.
Maybe a little bit less than that, but it seems like a while. But I've had the opportunity just to start from writing of policies all the way up to the leadership and management, and then be able to go into a lot of the acquisitions and really all aspects of the insurance side of it. So I'm excited to be here. We have, goodness, like Stephen had said, we've worked together in the past. We've done the program with Agency Performance Partners for, like I said, more than 5 years. And
guys, we were trying to figure out earlier. We think it's more like 6 or 7, but we were both getting a little foggy. So
yes,
we've been on 5+ years.
So, people ask me, okay, how would I describe myself? I'd say that in four words: I'm a leader, I'm a teacher, I'm an adventurer, and I usually go by the nickname Celery for those that know that. So I love teaching. I love learning things. I like leadership from the aspect of then you're able to influence and help people. And I really do enjoy traveling because there's a whole lot to see out there. So I like getting out of my office and seeing what's out there.
I travel frequently as well, but that's normally for work.
True. Fun.
I feel at the airport.
Yes.
I did get to see the world's largest ball of twine made by one person in Dassel, Minnesota, not too long ago, or right outside of Dassel, Minnesota. So that was exciting.
There you go. You can check that off your list.
All the things, all the check. So what program, is there one program you think specifically has had the biggest impact on the agency overall, or got things started in the right way, set you up for success?
So when we first started, actually, I don't know if it's still offered, but a complete agency overview is actually
the agency assessment.
Yeah, the agency assessment when we first started. And the reality is we just needed I'll call it a third-party vendor view to tell us what we knew needed to happen, but just didn't know where to start. So that was super helpful just to get the train out of the station and moving forward. In terms of like the retention program has been a big one. And then more recently, the hard market, working on the current market.
Yeah, handling the market.
Handling the
hard market heroes, I think, when you did it. But
okay, so
handling the market. Yes. Okay. It's not going away. It's not hard anymore. It's just
no, it's not. So the handling the market program. So those have been probably the 3 most influential programs over the years.
Perfect. We actually have Yessie in the waiting room. So I'm going to pause us for just a quick second and let her in.
Sounds good.
All right, friends, we are back with the wonderful Miss Jessica Falwell, also known as Yessie. Yessie, you want to take a second to introduce yourself to all of our fans out there in podcast land?
Yeah, I'm Jessica. I am the Systems Operations Officer with Cross Insurance Agency. Celia, as mentioned before, we've been using the APP program for about 5 years now, and it's really helped shape our agency and keep us afloat. So
Love it. Well, we're going to continue with our questions. Guys, interrupt me whenever you want to talk because it's not the Steven show, it's the All of Us show. But I would love to continue on the journey. Celia was just talking about kind of the assessment and some of the programs we went through, how the retention has impacted the agency. But the bigger question, the better question, I think, is how have the best practices shared, or how have the things you learned changed your day-to-day operations, or how have you implemented those with the team so it's a consistent message?
Yeah. So in our agency, we use Symphony as our KPI program. And what we did is we took all of the best practices from the retention program and from the sales program, and the hard market, all of the different programs that we have used. And we turned those into KPIs so that we can stay focused with the good habits that we learned from APP and making sure the program is kept at top of mind within the agency. So the KPIs help us stay on track with all of the programs and good habits that we learn with APP.
I love that. A lot of times when we're working with agencies during the assessment to begin, the key performance indicators or KPIs are kind of a foreign concept, right? Like we're like, oh, we're all doing great. But I'm like, yes, and I'm a world-class ballerina because there's nothing to gauge me against. And if I'm the only one,
Right.
perfect, right?
Yes.
So, Celia, do you think that the KPIs help manage a team with less feelings and more facts, or is it a struggle? What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. The APP programs create the focus and the habits of what an agent should do in their day. As you all know, you all have a million things to do. So what do you focus on? And so by bringing the structure, by bringing the strategies behind it, understanding and learning how to speak to the customers, and then you take those into tangible, measurable tasks through the KPIs, that's then what helps really the team know, okay, of all the information that I'm gathering and everything that happens, I'm going to focus on these items. So we've tweaked it to a point to where it's really tying into the APP strategies to tie in directly to the KPIs.
So, yeah, if you being the operations person, I'm sure you get to have some adventures with some of the reporting and getting things ready or monitoring the overall success of the team. How difficult would you say it was when you first started with some of the monitoring and tracking versus now?
I would say that, well, like anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the easier it becomes. You also tweak as you go. I think being flexible is super important throughout the transition and what works for your agency. So, we started off with the program a certain way, and it's just kind of developed to where it's toned in now. And again, the Symphony program just kind of help everything in line with reporting and measuring and having accurate information and data so that we can see what's working, what's not, what we need to shift. We're really great at this now, so now we can move on to this next step and just keeping the flow going.
So it's a continual progression. It's not you just set it and forget it and that's what it is forever.
Correct. Yeah.
So can we have just a quick moment of honesty? Like at the beginning, was the team super excited about accountability and tracking and KPIs and performance?
No, not at all.
Say that it was unrealistic and we were just being mean and we didn't know what the role was because we didn't do their job and we didn't understand all the stress that they had every day.
Yeah, and I myself was in one of those. When Kelly presented the program, I have to say from personal experience, I was like, how are we going to have all this time to do this and call people? And, when I was sitting there, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's too much. We can't handle that. And as you get in there and things shift and different, positions, and you're not taking payments all day long, then suddenly you have the time. And so, like I said, it's shifting and just jumping in and doing it with a positive attitude, I think also helps, and believing like, okay, like this is, it's to make the situation better and just going with the flow. And then you get accustomed to it. And then now it's like, there's no way I could see us going back to how it was before. There's just, I can't even imagine that. So it's just trusting the process.
And it just becomes part of the routine, right? Like once you do it
Right.
long enough, it's just like, fine, this is what I do every morning. Or as
Yeah.
the team's doing it and then you bring in somebody new, the new person's like, okay,
Mhm.
what do you,
Yeah.
you're not going to fight
Yeah.
me on it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think over time, especially in the hiring, it has really helped on the, I guess we'll be able to jump to the leadership side of it.
Yeah.
In terms of the hiring and the firing, it has been much easier. I will say we'll do more hiring and less firing, to be honest, nowadays, because we're not so quick to, we have the expectations, we have the expectations. And so it's much easier to look at a candidate that way than just like, oh, I think it'll work. And so it's just the process is quicker. And then on the flip side for the team, there is less surprises. They know what's kind of, there's a lot more orderliness. Insurance, in my opinion, is actually pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
It's a very regulated industry, but consumers look at us not in a positive light. There's problems all the time. And on top of that, most people don't understand what's going on. And then everybody does everything different in terms on the carrier side as well as the agency side. So to me, it just brings a lot more orderliness, and then it brings more confidence to the team and direction because it's not so chaotic. And so they feel like, okay, it may be like a tornado on the outside, but on the inside, it's just like, okay, we got this. And so they also trust us as leaders to know that when we are putting the goals in place or the items that we'll implement or re-emphasize in the program, that they know we have a reason behind it. So they're not questioning us as much, but they'll definitely ask great questions. We're like, okay, we'll get back to you on that one, or this is why we're doing that. But thank you for bringing that up.
Well, and I'm not supposed to have a favorite program, but one of my favorite ones probably is the retention program because I've seen the change in teams. And I love that once they get over their mindset of this is horrible, this is stupid, this is whatever, and we overcome a lot of those challenges and they're making the calls. Once we get a year plus in, some clients are like, why are you calling me again? You called me last year. And other clients are like, oh, you called me again? And it becomes a lot more confident. It builds a lot more confidence in the team, but also the customer starts to think of you as a person and starts
Mhm.
to trust you better in my thought process. So have you seen with the market change and everything else, have you seen more clients be a little bit more loyal because at least they trust you and they're calling you first? Or is it still a consistent battle with explaining everything to our client?
I'll speak on that one. I think I recently just had a customer as well that had a big rate increase on her policy. And instead of, going somewhere else to talk, she sent me an email like, hey, can we look at my auto again? Can we review this again? Because,
Yeah.
I didn't expect this much of an increase or whatnot. And when I explained to her the hard market and I explained to her, you have a Hyundai on your policy and all of that, she trusted me. She trusted me with that information, said, okay, I think you're right. I'll stay where I'm at. And it's because we had already built that relationship for the past years that I called her, did the account reviews, all of that. She trusted my judgment and my advice with her policy instead of saying, no, you're just trying to rip me off and then going down next door. So I think that it definitely helps the customers build confidence in you and within the agency.
And I know about a year ago, as the market was changing and everybody was noticing things about March of last year, and we started getting panicked calls from teams. We talked, and you guys started implementing the handling the market, which was called hard market at the time. But as we know, the market's not going away. So it is just the market now. So handling the market's probably a more positive way to say that. And I was impressed with what you guys kind of did in the fact that you used the online course, did a lot of it with your team as part of the meeting, and then had us come in from time to time to help reinforce or share some stories to see if the team was on track. So, can we take a second and talk about how you guys utilize the school right now and how that's still been an integral part of your training?
So yeah, Yessie, I will say Yessie had my gosh, she like the systems operation manager, she went behind the scenes and did it. So I will definitely absolutely Yessie want you to help people understand how you implemented the online. I will pull just just before you go into that, Yessie, I will pull from a leadership standpoint. There's been some acquisitions within our agency. And within that, we not only had books coming in, but we also had other team members coming in. And so there was half of a team that knew the program and half the team that did not. We had half of a book of business of customers that there was no regular account reviews and so forth. The programs, the APP, half of them did. So the challenge for me as a leader is how do we bring that all together? So our first item that we did is we actually implemented, reintroduced, and redid the retention program via the online school. I'll have Jessie go into that a little bit more of how we created that schedule. So we did that, I think, in 3 months, Jessie, or is it 6? Was it 3? Okay.
It was 3.
3. So Q1 type thing, Q1, Q2 type thing. So, we did that so we could get everybody on board, refocused. It was a lot faster. It was a refresher for some and others. And then we had different goals. And then once we had everybody in play, then we came into handling the market program for that next quarter. So basically in 6 months, we were able to kind of bring the structure and the order and the idea. It didn't come out. It's not perfect.
Right.
There's still bumps and wiggles and adventures like that. But there was a plan in place for the next 6 months. And so as leaders, you're like, okay, this is the focus. This is how we're going to work with the team. And then that brought us then into Q1 for 2024. So I'll let Jessica go into how we actually implemented that into the agency.
Yeah. So the first thing that we did is I created our resource center. And so basically it's a place where they can go in internally. This is just for our agents. We go in, we put information there. It's easy on the eyes. It's not just a bunch of files. And so what we did is I created a timeline. So I said, hey guys, we're meeting every Wednesday, 9 to 10. And within the timeline on that page, I did this week, we're going to talk about this. And then this week, we're going to talk about this. And so they had a very clear understanding of like, hey, this is quarter 1. These are the meetings we're going to have. This is what we're going to talk about, so that it made sense. They could go in there and view in that same place. We added all of the APP resources, all of the scripts, all the workbook that they could go in and open and view at any time. So everything was in one place. They had the timeline, they had all of the resources, the workbooks, the everything. And what we did with the online school is we would play so we're going to, start with the first video, and then we would play the video initially. At the beginning of the meeting, we would play the APP video, and then we would chat about how that works within our agency, because every agency has different processes, different items. So APP was our foundation for our, philosophies and all of those things. So we play the video, and then we would do our specific process and how that tied into us specifically. And so then there was certain times where we would take the information from APP, and then we would set our processes and how that would work for our agency. And that's what we would present for the team for that week. And then every week we would record our meetings, and we would put them on that same resource center, so that in case they wanted to go back and view or refresher, they could at any time they could jump in there, see the videos, and give themselves have a refresher. Mm-hmm. So it was the main keys when working on that. My objective was to keep it simple for the team so that they do not feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They know what's coming up next. They know what to expect, and making it as informative and easy for them as possible. So this is, having a plan, executing that plan, like said, and then just providing them information, all the resources, all in one place, so that they're not like, oh, I had no idea. They said something about this and that, and just making it a simple process for them. It was the key. And I think that having that resource center, the timeline, the everything planned out before rolling out the program was essential to it being not another task work to our agents, not homework for them, not, it's just, it provides organized information.
Well, I think it does a good job of setting the expectation. If I may be gone, at least I know what I should be reviewing. The video, let me watch it if I get back.
Yes.
And then everybody's at least can't say, well, I didn't know, or I couldn't find, or because at that point
Exactly.
it goes to the raise your hand. Like, did you raise your hand and tell somebody you couldn't find it? Did you raise your hand?
Right.
You didn't understand.
And with that is also one of our KPIs. We also tied into us learning it. So that's exactly right. Did you attend that live meeting that we had for APP? Or if you were gone, did you watch it by Friday? Setting that expectation of this is not an option. You have to take the course along with everybody else. Like you said, just the expectation there, and the accountability is also there as well.
Absolutely. Yes. I love accountability. I don't think we can be successful without accountability. But we don't want to be like a tyrant. We want to just have clear expectations. Set the clear expectations. People should know what accountable is. And then we have to talk to them if it's not, right?
Correct. Yeah. But it just helped bring it also because we were, again, had multiple agencies coming in. When you meet every Wednesday and start speaking and the culture started melding together, they got to know each other, and we made it fun. I mean, we have Jeopardy. Actually, our personal lines team lead, she does a really good job of that. So we did the spin the wheel. We did a lot of gift cards. Actually, I forgot about that. We did a lot of gift cards of based on the success of the KPIs and the tracking. Who accomplished the goal, who was participating. I mean, we're giving out $25 here and there and everywhere, and new business, and then tying it to, did they attend, all kinds of things. So yeah, there were part of that. We, just like in the APP on the leadership modules, launch party, yes, you did a very good job. We didn't just say, okay, we're going to do this. It was, we were prepping our team several weeks in advance. Yes, they did a good job we had a theme. I forgot what our theme was. Anyways, we had a theme. We had a party at the end for the retention program. I think we had coffee, or I think we ordered I don't know.
Lunch. We did lunch and we did coffee somewhere along the way, and beans here and there.
Yeah.
Just
It kept it exciting and not just, okay, we're going to watch a video, then talk about it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that led us into handling the market. I meet with my management team every Monday, and part of my job is figuring out, what can we do to help our team based on the industry. And obviously, the market was coming. It's hard. We knew it was coming. What can we do to help them? So actually, the program that you guys came out was really fantastic. I'm glad that you guys scrambled and put it together, to be honest.
Our 2023 theme was nothing new, refine what we do. And within the first 2 months, we were like, nope, we got some crispy clients and something's happening. Let's figure out a new program.
Yep. So same concept. We got together as a leadership. It's like, we could go into the sales program. We could do, there was all kinds of things, customer service, where I was like, yeah, I've been through a hard market before. Jesse, I think you have. I think half our team has, half of our team hasn't. So we knew we were going to get the conversations from the customers, the retention, especially because we just, with our acquisition and so forth, retention was huge. The company wants to see growth and they want to see profitability. So how do we do that? So we did the same aspect of the hard market, which is now called the handling the market, with the same concept in that. So I'll turn over to you a little bit on the handling the market program and kind of what you did there.
So we took the same process as we did on the retention program. So we did another page, timeline, use the APP videos to guide us. Like we just said, the gift cards, the videos, keeping it fun, keeping it intriguing, and getting also feedback, I think, was a big part of it, because of like, what are you guys seeing? What do you guys think? What is the struggle? And then also bringing APP, having you guys come in during the hard market as well, so that we could not only get from our agency, but also, what's going on, what's everybody else doing, what's the temperature out there, so that we know, okay, we're not in this alone. they have examples. They talk to all the different agencies, and then having the opportunity to just meet with you guys and ask those hard questions.
And that we weren't making it up.
Yeah, exactly. We're not making it up.
Yeah.
It's good also for the team to have an outsider's perspective on it as well is super helpful because like Sally said, we're not making it up. This is a trend. Everybody's seeing this across the board. So what we did to structure this one that was different than the retention is we had 2 meetings using the APP resources. So 2 meetings with us, and then on the 3rd meeting, the APP came in. So you and Kelly came in, chatted with the team, and then we would do 2 by ourselves, and then 1 with APP, 2 by ourselves, 1 with APP, and then we would say, make sure you have questions for when APP comes up. What are you guys seeing? All of that, and so I think that it was really great for the team to have a third party come in during the hard market.
Always laugh about it. Like, I'm like, you've probably told them this 40 times, and I'll say it once or twice, and then they're like, oh. I'm like, 'cause I know when I was working with APP with the team, and I'd be like, do you want me to tell Kelly you didn't do your videos? And they'd be like, no, don't tell Kelly. I'm like, but you have no cares what I think. The consultant, you don't get upset, right?
Yeah.
So I think, again, sometimes if it's like Charlie Brown, it's like, wah, 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 when it's coming from leadership.
Yeah.
Or from other teammates, but then somebody else comes in, they're like, well, Steven said. And you're like,
Yeah.
thing I've told you 72 times. But glad you finally caught on. Thank you.
Yeah.
At this time when we did it, which was last year, we were beginning into it, I will say, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So a lot of the convo was prepping them for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So being in March, we're almost done with Q1 in 2024. They weren't surprised. And that was the biggest thing. In fact, just yesterday, we took our team out, some of our team out for lunch. And why did we do that? Because we're in that market. They get beat up a lot. They're answering the calls. The customers are grumpy. Again, our team knows how to handle it. They're practicing what they've been learning. We've been, definitely reminding them, hey, but I'll say on the mental side, and I will say our agency is a remote agency. We have one home office, but most of our team works from home. And so they all know their expectations. They know what to do. But when you're picking up the phone, when you're looking at your emails, when you're going to the carriers, it's not all happy and unicorns and sprinkles and have a great day. It wasn't like it was 2 years ago. And so I noticed it started beating up on the team in terms of just like, oh my gosh, they know there's complaints, but it's like, can we just hear something positive? And so I think that's the big part that we started shifting now is they know how to handle they have the information and the resources. So now what we're switching to is the aspect of checking in on them on I'll call their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they doing to get out in a sense? Are they taking breaks?
Yeah.
Are they taking PTO? Are they taking walks? I want you guys to go outside. And even in our meetings on teams, I'm like, I want you guys to stretch. I want you guys what are you doing outside of insurance? Because it does get weighing. It does get pressing. It does get depressing and overwhelming. And so that doesn't help them get what they need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did. We took our team out for lunch yesterday. And it was a beautiful sunny day. One agent said that she gets up about every hour away from her computer and she'll just go outside for a little bit, take 10 minutes and then come back. Others are, I don't know, some are just literally go out and make a cup of tea or something.
Right, I was going to say, I call it sipping the tea. Like, if you need a moment after a difficult customer, raise your hand and say, I'll be back in 4 minutes. I'm going to make some tea. And everybody's going to know what it means. If it happens 20 times a day, we're going to have an issue. But once here and there, like, please go get your tea or spill your tea or sip your tea or whatever you need to do with your tea. take that moment to breathe and then come back.
Yeah. I've started walking. Jesse's done a few things, 15-minute walks and whatnot, just to get away and get out. So that's what I've noticed, a little bit of a shift now in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And more of the team is now talking about what they're doing outside of, of the insurance, or picking up different things or different hobbies.
I was talking with the agency earlier this morning, and they were like, we're getting really tired of the late pay. Nobody calls me when I don't pay my bill. But I think that we have to keep calling them because we have called them because of E&O. And I'm like, well, or we just reset an expectation of, if we call you more than X number of times per year as a reminder, we're going to put in writing, we're not going to notify you any longer when we physically talk to you. We send it out and then we're done. It's not that we're being mean. We don't have the time, especially in this market, to babysit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So sometimes it's also empowering your team of saying, hey, here's a standard, which I know you guys have done really well with standards as well, of here's what the expectation is. Here's the standard. Here's the turnaround time. Here's the minimum limit. Here's this, here's that, and then kind of enforcing those. So do you think that that also helps with the team when it's clear expectations of what service standards are or what coverage standards are?
100%. I think that kind of unifies the team as well. And especially with agents coming from different agencies, different way of doing things. I think that having those written standards and kind of joined us together as one, and now we can move forward as one. There's not one person processing cancellations this way, and then another person doing it this way, and then that person, and then this person. It just kind of unifies you so that you can move together as one. Having those expectations and everything written down for them to access and follow.
So what would you say the biggest challenge was with the agency or with the team that you've now overcome? Or I guess I should say, what was the biggest challenge that you have overcome with the team? Was it just unifying everybody? Is it getting everybody on the same page? Is it?
Gosh, we have a great team. I'm not going to lie. Like, honestly, I'm not going to pat ourselves on that. We have a great team. They trust us as leaders. I will say my biggest challenge has probably been, like, as a leader, the accountability. As a leader, you can say you're going to roll out a program or you're going to have expectations or goals. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you do have to follow through with that. I mean, we're all human and say things and we don't do it. I mean, it is what it is. I think for me personally, learning how to do that accountability, but doing it in little chunks. And this is something that I've grown in as a leader, as, okay, what am I going to do? But then I can't do it all myself. And so I have to, yeah. So you have to have the team. And so this is where, all the way from the bottom up and the top down. So Yessie, we talked to our team. We've got the systems operation, we have our personal lines, and we have a commercial lines team lead. And, bringing them in, saying, guys, I have an idea. What do you think about this? I did not tell Yessie to go and do a resource center and the whole schedule and everything. No, she did that on her own and shared with, like, hey, this is what I did. I got this idea. And then all of a sudden we're coming in going, that's a great idea. Everybody knows what to expect. Every Wednesday wasn't a scramble because we knew for the next 3 months what we were going to do. And the team knew so it was, again, that accountability took place. So therefore it worked. And so I guess in terms of the team going, no, I don't want to do this, I think it was more of, they were watching to see, is the leadership serious about it? Are they going to implement it? And the other side too is, are we going to do it in a way that's not in a micromanaging way? Because I'm not a micromanager, and neither is the rest of our team. And so there was a balance within that. So once the team knew that this is what we're going to do, it's tangible, it's measurable, we're not jerking you around, we're going to lean into accountability as a group. You're not in trouble. If a customer leaves and you've done so they leave. If they stay and you've saved an account, great. The wins, really, really important. Emphasizing what the wins, and then taking the small tasks, following up, and then divvying it out to your team leads or your leadership so that they can then implement to the account managers. And then pretty soon everybody's helping everybody, and then the boat all rises. I guess that's how I'd answer that question.
I guess if I'm thinking about what you just said, it really comes down to creating a plan, having support for the plan to make sure it's on track, off track, accountability, and what does accountability look like, right? I love that, yes, you came up with the 3 months at a time, because once you start quarter one, you can already plan quarter two, right?
Mm.
You're already on to the next one because you have one complete. So I think it does alleviate a lot of stress. And it also provides clarity for the leadership team of, this is the expectation, this is what we need to do, and this is how we're going to accomplish it.
Mhm.
Jessie, do you have any feedback or thoughts on challenges and overcoming them?
No, I think Celia pretty much covered it. And the only thing I would add is giving the resources to the agents and being of support to them and being there when they have questions and being able to help. Everybody starts working together to help each other, I think is really great, but providing them the resources so that they can grow.
I'm working with another agency right now on a retention program. I work with lots of them, so it's not anyone in particular, but in general, let's bring it back to general terms. They're struggling as a leadership team, so the whole rest of the team is like the Wild West right now. And I'm like, guys, what are we gonna do to get everybody back on track? What are we gonna do to get them to use the form? And they're like, they hate the form. I'm like, literally nobody's completed a single form yet. They just tell us all the problems with the form. They're like, but they're handling rate and they're reshopping everything. I'm like, right. So they should be doing a review before we reshop, because we need current information before we run a quote. And they're like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm like, no, we already talked about that. So even working, I think sometimes with a coach or whatever can be a struggle if leadership gets off track. But this is what I like to say. Sometimes we have to raise our hand, or sometimes somebody needs to raise our hand for us and be like, guys, we can do a whole lot better if we just try. But I think over the last several years, like, you guys now work well as a leadership team. You guys are well connected. And even though there's been lots of changes and you're growing, would you agree that kind of raising your hand and clear communication is key in making the success happen?
100%.
So
I think if we're all on the same page, then they don't get to run to mom when dad says no.
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
Exactly.
I think anybody that's going to be, signing up for any of these programs, the leadership has to be vested.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be vested going into it, and it's hard work, because to me, it's like you're tilling the ground to move it forward, so that you're breaking up the rocks. So you can get yourself a path, so the water can flow into the soil, so you can grow. But there has to be the leadership in that, and there are days where it is rough, but then there's other days, then you start seeing the growth and the success of that. So, and they'll follow. People naturally are followers. They just have to believe in it, and also have faith and trust in the leadership in that. Once you've earned that respect, and vice versa, they're going to fall in line and start working with really everybody. And they'll start bringing on their coworkers. And those that don't want it, they'll leave, and that's fine. I used to,
Right.
Anymore now. It's like, okay, that's fine. I mean,
We're not a good fit. We're not a good fit.
that's okay.
We're going to find something to do.
There's other places that they come, and then vice versa.
Yeah. But I think you guys have also done a really good job of, when you set your vision and values, or your culture, really started to hold people accountable to the message of the agency. Would you agree? Like, setting that, and then clear onboarding, setting expectations from the start.
Yeah.
The job description, so people knew what to expect, the KPIs that make it so they know what they're accountable for. Does all that tie back into the success of everybody getting along and knowing what to understand and being a part of the culture of the agency?
Absolutely. Yep. 100%.
So, final thoughts, my friend, because we only have a few minutes left, and I know you have busy lives to get back to. Oops, I just said the B word.
It's a B word.
It's going to be bleeped out. You're going to think I said something else, guys. That's the number one word we don't say at APP is busy, right? We can be popping. We could be overwhelmed. We can be all kinds of things, but we're never busy. So, final thought from each of you. How has this impacted you personally? Like personal life, work life? How has working with APP, doing all these things, sticking to some of the strategies, how has it impacted you personally?
I can say that it has impacted me very positively in a lot of ways. Sales, I was not very strong in sales, and it just helped me understand and see and build confidence in yourself. And I think a lot of these items kind of help you grow and gain confidence in yourself, whether it's the retention program or sales or time management or the hard market. You just gather little bits here and there. And the philosophies, I think, are great, not only in insurance, but also in your personal life. Like, just eat the frog. Just do it. Or don't,
Do it.
don't scuba dive, just snorkel. And I think about those philosophies, not even just with insurance, but also in my everyday life of like, no, I'm just going to eat the frog and I'm going to get this done. And then you feel better about it. So I think that a lot of the philosophy and just training information, it just helps your confidence as an agent to go out there and know that it's going to be okay. I think that that's the biggest one is it helps grow the agent's confidence and knowledge.
Ditto. I'm kidding. That would be too easy for me.
She took all my words. That's no it.
Confidence. Definitely confidence. Conflict. Who wants to? The conflict is always hard. The pit in the stomach of being able to address difficult situations. Not apologizing. Those three items, yes, it goes into the insurance side of it, but also at the same time, my natural desire is to help people. I like, teaching people. I want to look at the best in people. And so at times I get ran over verbally or just not stand up for myself when in a sense that you're not coming from a prideful standpoint, but it's just like because of the experience and the knowledge I had, I knew that, but I didn't speak up in it.
Mhm.
And so from that aspect, learning, just the strategies, how to speak to people, running in confidence, not feeling like it's all my fault because it's not. In some cases.
Right, right.
Sure, it's
98% of the time it's not.
and when it is, I will be the first one to say, I'm going to fall on my sword. That actually,
Yeah.
my bad. So definitely for sure the confidence aspect, knowing that and believing in what I know and imparting that to others for those that want to listen and those that don't want to listen, that's fine. I'll spend my time somewhere else. And so to me, it's just definitely provided a way that I could be a better leader to my team. Fires, and when I say fires, don't scare me anymore in terms of situations that either whether it's with customers or from team leaders or so forth, I'm being able to handle and help in the end
Mhm.
so that's successful and not feel like everything is just a disaster in the end. So those are just a few of the takeaways that I've learned over the time with the APP program.
I will also add, I asked for some feedback to an agent that was new to the APP program and just to get a little feedback because I feel like we are already 5 years in, so we
Right.
think really positively of it. But I said, hey, what's your view on the APP program coming from, starting out? And she said that the lesson links were great because it's, okay, I can fit this in my day. It's not homework and that way. And then one of the items that she mentioned is that she felt more team camaraderie. So she's like, I learned the lessons and I understood the lingo of, that my other coworkers were learning, we're using on the day-to-day basis, kind of like eat the
Yeah.
frog and all of that. And so it helps build, even for new team members coming in, it helps build a sense of like, we're a team, we're united and we're doing this. We're all navigating this together and moving forward. So I think that's also a great thing about the APP program is it brings you together. When you're united on a task, it helps grow the camaraderie of the team.
Well, that's what I love about the school personally, is that new team members can start, and if it's part of your onboarding program or it's part of their training, they get up to speed a lot faster because the rest of the team again is already doing it.
Right.
Now going, it's more like light bulb. Those light bulb moments is kind of what you just said of,
Yeah.
okay, that's why we're doing this. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly. And then we, like I said, on our resource center that we created, we put in the recordings there for everybody. And so when somebody new is to the team, they just go back and watch it. It just makes that whole process so much easier. You don't have to have, your team lead or somebody else taking the time out of their day to just go over that information over and over again out loud. So it helps with even onboarding and all of that, having all those, and they're tied to your agency. If you take the info and then tie it in, it helps a lot, and it helps unite everyone.
Well, thank you guys. It's been amazing. Did you have any closing thoughts you wanted to share before we are done and bid adieu?
No, thank you.
I said,
Appreciate it. Thank you for providing the resources.
Yes, thank you guys for your time today, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Bye.
Bye.